my kingdom. Had to buy some harmony. Now I'm flexing with my jewels. You can tell I got a lot on me. Grab another hero, feeling like I hit the lottery. Farming, getting APYs, stacking profits to the sky. 1x, 2.
What is going on? Welcome everybody to the Inner Grove. We got the play stream tonight. We got Bloaterpunch joining us.
What up?
Happy to
Yeah,
have
Bloater's
him.
usually the moderator for our main podcast, but we're happy to have him on this time.
Heck yeah.
You guys ready to win? I used to play Counter-Strike, and this one super old guy got on and was like, "You guys ready to win?" So I pulled that one out.
So guys, we've got we do have a sponsor for the last couple episodes. Pocket has been our sponsor. You guys probably know they are the main RPC provider for DFK chain. So it's super awesome for them. They've been really good to work with. And I don't know about you guys, but they right now, the Pocket Network has been the most consistent and stable for me. Even on Serendel, it has been the most stable. So I know there's been a lot of issues and it's been super slow, but Pocket has been the most stable for me. So they've been a good sponsor. We've got their link down in the bottom of our show notes, so be sure to catch it there if you haven't already added it in Serendel. Obviously, everyone's got that up on DFK chain. So yeah, we've got a good show for you guys tonight. We're going to go over Crystalvale and just kind of what we're doing right now in the world. So it just launched. Let's see, how many days ago? How long has it been?
Officially launched on Wednesday, but the garden emissions didn't start until Thursday, so we're like 3-ish days in,
Yeah,
3.5-ish
3 days.
So yeah, what do you guys? I think there's a couple things that are probably a lot of people are having to try and make decisions about right now. One of those is, all right, if you existed essentially between January and February, you probably got at least some amount of crystal airdropped, right? So I'm curious, what did you guys do with your crystal that was airdropped, and what will you be doing? Because the rest of it's vesting, over the next 50, or sorry, the remaining 50% is vesting over the next week.
Yeah, let me
So-
tell you a little story real quick. So we're in DFK. I get in at $3. I'm in, I'm out. Probably should have been in the whole time. It goes to $10. It goes $15. Goes to $22 ish, and everyone is so hyped. The mania is like all time high, and some people are YOLOing in more at $22, and some people are saying, "Hey, is this sustainable?" Et cetera, et cetera. So a lot of people got burned. Some people YOLOed in at that all time high. Then it crashes, as you guys note, about 380 was the all-time low. And so I'm just saying from that story, what I learned and I got burned was you have to take profits. And, obviously that's a function of your prospectus, like how aggressively do you want to play and how much do you want? So to answer your question, Samichpunch, I didn't want to get burned again. I'm a big fan of laddering profits. I'm a big fan of getting a W on the books. So I took all of my crystal and took it out. I got like 33 or 34 bucks per crystal, took it all out, and did not, and I know this is crazy, but did not participate in any of the APRs, any of the yield farms. For me, it was just like, hey, I got a big pump. I got some airdrop stuff to me. And it's so mania. The mania is so high. I just can't get a read on it. And I don't want to get caught holding jewel bags or crystal bags at the prices we're at. And so, of course, some of you are going to make more money than me, and I'm totally fine with that. I'm about taking the W. So that's my piece.
Yeah. So similar. And on your point, like it feels so good to take some profits, especially when it's been so low and it's hard to sell anything when the price is really low. Obviously the strategy is buy low, sell high. So, and it's kind of weird that crystal, I mean, let's check out the price right now. So it is $34. We know that it is destined to kind of track with Jewel. So the fact that it is over 3 times the value is kind of bizarro, and it's just the fact that they launched the pools at the same time. So people are like, I want to take advantage of the APRs, and I'm trying to think. At the very, very beginning, I think I saw APRs. What was the highest APR you guys saw? Did you guys pay attention?
On which one?
Just
The Jewel X Jewel?
nope, on
As
the
soon as the crystal
crystal, one
ones
of the
opened?
crystal.
I mean, I'm sure this lasted for like less than a minute, but I saw somebody with a screenshot that said like 100,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I saw 100,000, but I wasn't 100% sure. So I mean, you get in that for even a couple minutes, and you're making a crap ton of crystal.
Cha-ching.
So yeah, I took some profits, but I also staked in the gardens. I jumped into the crystal USDC pool, so I did both. It does feel good to ladder out some profits, and is always a good strategy. Ladder out profits whenever you feel like the market is overhyped and anything might be overpumped. It's really good time to take profits.
Would you agree though, both you, Samichpunch and Babypunch, would you agree that you learned lessons from the 22 Jewel being at 22 and what happened after that? Do you feel like that was a learning experience, or you're like, no, we played it that way, we would play it again?
Huge learning experience for me. I mean, I was in DeFi Kingdoms, day one, and I put in at like $21.50. Like I put in more at that point than I had put into DeFi Kingdoms before that, like all of my purchases before that. And then I was like, like so committed. I'm super bullish on this project. And I rode it all the way down to like, I sold a little bit, like Panic sold a little at certain points. But for the vast majority of it, I held all the way down to $4. And I was just like, I'm never doing that again. Like I'm never doing that again. Like I need to take profits. I need to be more disciplined. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like you can still be super bullish on a project. It's frankly like financially irresponsible not to take profits and ladder them out as it's going up. So that was a huge lesson for me. And I definitely took some profits with this crystal. And I think it brings up a question that a couple people have asked. For example, uncontrolled cross circulation. Why is crystal destined to track with Jewel? So let's discuss that. I will say though, this was wild, guys. So I'm gonna go actually to like a 5-minute chart here. So this was when the airdrop happened yesterday. I'm actually gonna spread.
Can I ask a question? This is just ignorance. If you go farther to the left, was it purchasable before that big spike? Because
like right here, you're talking about?
Was that real?
So I mean, that's if I recall, like that's when like nobody could buy it. There was a few people that could get in, but like the vast majority of people like couldn't get their funds bridged over. And there was one big wallet who had quite a bit over, and people were accusing the developers, and that's what Frisky made the announcement about, which was nobody on the core team recognizes this wallet, and they found a way to interact with the contract directly. So
Wow.
I mean, but like I know that DFK DAO was able to get in earlier. Like they, their leaders, if you want to call it, they tweeted about it. They went from, I believe what they did is they went from Harmony to Avalanche and then Avalanche into DFK chain, and for some reason that was a lot faster. So I know that they were able to pick some up. But man, this was crazy. Right here, the morning of the airdrop, we're hitting $46, and I mean, this is a 5-minute chart. So this happened that's a 5-minute candle. Within 10 minutes after that, we were already back up to 33 after going down to 18. So wild stuff.
I will say my guess was Crystal has to dump. And this is such a smart play by Frisky and team, the way they've structured the incentives, because my ignorant viewpoint was no one will want to hold Crystal. And again, obviously these APRs are insane, which is of course why people are holding Crystal in addition to the Gen Zeros. But I would have thought it would not be where it is. Like 34 is beyond my wildest expectations for the price. I cannot believe it's still tracking at 34. That blows my mind. I thought even at the prices, it would go down way faster. So I don't know about you guys. I'm baffled. Like I could not have seen this coming.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what do you think, Babypunch? I think because we've said this before, and maybe I can just recap it for everyone. We think that eventually, and I think that the dev team thinks the same as well, that the price of Crystal will eventually equal the price of Jewel, and that's because it's contemplated utility in game is the
That's right.
exact same as Jewel. Let me give you guys an example real quick. A maxed Gen 0, so a Gen 0 that has summoned more than, what is it, like 20 times or whatever, it costs 30 Jewel to summon with them. That a similar Gen 0 and Crystalvale would cost 30 Crystal. So it's not, I know that Crystal is 1/4 of the supply, but things do not cost 1/4 of the cost of Jewel. They're the exact same. The way I view it is that it's essentially a 25% extension of the total supply of Jewel. And eventually, once all the gameplay rolls out and we see phase 2, I see that those prices slowly going down together. But what we're seeing right now is you've got a lot of liquidity in TVL and AVAX. You've got a lot of players who are coming in. And I think a lot of people don't realize that that's the intended model for it eventually. And so, I mean, they're going to ape in, and I think that we'll see Crystal being at a multiple of Jewel for a while. I mean, there is no arbitrage opportunity yet. So how can it go to the same point unless it's just people like us saying, well, eventually it's going to, and everyone trading based off of that, which I don't see happening. So until that true ARB opportunity comes in, we could probably see it a multiple for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So Babypunch or Samichpunch, what is your read on Jewel? My personal read is I don't feel good. I am waiting for a dip to buy. I am bullish on the project. I am waiting for that dip. I want there to be a dip. Buying at 10 feels really bad when we know where we've been, and the only reason we are where we are is because of CV. So my question is, like, has something fundamentally changed? And so much of this is just psychology, right? Like, do people believe and the price will go up? But personally, I'm kind of scared to buy, and I'm waiting to see what happens. So just curious your thoughts. Like, do you feel good about Jewel at 10? Do you see a big pump from where it is? What's your read?
Oh man, that's hard. That's hard to say, like, where Jewel's going to go from here. It seems like it's been pretty stable between the $9 and $10 range. It's hard to really say where it's going to go from here, but I mean, we could take a look at the roadmap and see what they have coming out, because that seems to track really well with the price. So as they launch new features and new timeline, I mean, let's see.
Well,
Why don't you?
why don't you answer
Do
this
you want to
though?
pull up the roadmap,
Do
or do you?
either of you
Yeah,
know
I've got it
why
pulled
it
up
was
here.
at 380? Like, can we explain that kind of dump? Was it just macro? Like,
I think it was just market economy, or like the market conditions. I mean, there's the war in Russia and Ukraine right now. Plus, there wasn't any like real gameplay functions out, and so
still not.
people who have been in Serendel on Harmony maybe could have just been really, I don't know, just saturated and not maybe frustrated is the better word, of nothing new coming out. And so when AVAX came out, brought some signs of life back into the chain with new player base and new TVL. So it's hard because they're developing the game, and you might get frustrated that they're not doing it fast enough, but the game is really complex. It's really difficult, and they're executing on a lot of different fronts. So it's easy to get frustrated because you won't be. It's hard to see the progress they're making, but they're making a lot of progress, and when those events happen, it seems to catapult the project altogether. So, I mean, the roadmap right here. So we just launched Crystalvale. We have the bank, we have the gardens, we have the marketplace, and the docks. So the next on the roadmap is the Gen Zero heroes and the portal. And in my opinion, once we get those and you can start spending Crystal, I think that's when Crystal will start tracking more closely to Jewel. It like Samichpunch said, it's going to take a while, and I honestly, in my opinion, I don't think that will actually happen until the utility for Crystal is there on Crystalvale.
I mean, this is an interesting comment. I don't know what you think about this, Samich. And this is anticipated, right? But SDKO says, can you imagine being a fresh AVAX player right now? Your native token is incredibly overpriced, probably, and there's nothing to do with it. Like, what should AVAX people be thinking right now? You know, obviously the APRs are what they are. Those are really bullish. But if we all believe that they will be tracking together, Jewel and Crystal, and I like your comment that, hey, Crystal is an extension of Jewel. You know, that's an interesting way to look at it. Like, does that feel good, I guess, for AVAX people? I don't know.
So I think again, this is like really, really dependent on how like if we see this being like a 100% true ARB opportunity, and when we say that, it's like, okay, well, what do we use Jewel for? We use it to summon, to level up. That's like almost nominal. It's really summoning, right? Summoning is 98 what the fees for Jewel is used for. And so once, let's say the Gen 0 portal Gen 0s and portal come out in Crystalvale, is there enough summoning happening? I mean, for me personally, like, you'd be, if the bridge is open to get your guys from Crystalvale to Sarandel, like, it would be so stupid to be summoning at 3x the cost. But that maybe it's just not enough yet until there's more hero utility to fully create like that ARB opportunity where also the bridge has to be way more. Anytime there has been an ARB opportunity, I've noticed, whether it's the X Jewel ratio or just Jewel, like for example, Jewel on Crystalvale was, I think, like 1070 on the morning of the airdrop yesterday, and then on Sarandel it was like $1 cheaper. But you couldn't bridge back and forth between them fast enough. So until those types of things are fixed, like, we might just be in a world where Crystal is going to be trading at a multiple of Jewel. And I think there's probably a lot of people, to this guy's comment, like, imagine being a freshie in AVAX and your native token is incredibly overpriced. Well, I mean, it's incredibly overpriced, but if you think back to the early days of DeFi Kingdoms, there was a lot of just, they're here to farm. People were here to farm, and who cares if eventually that price is going to go down if you're a farmer? If you're like, man, I don't care, I'm making 4,000, 5,000% APR right now, and I'm going to farm the crap out of this. And whether they might even know about heroes coming out and that arbitrage opportunity, or the fact that the team themselves have said, we ultimately expect the prices to equalize.
So there's a comment. Jeremy Schlalman is asking about locked Jewel and if we can sell that. I don't think they are opening that to be able to be sold or transferred. Do you?
So yeah, actually,
know,
I did see
Samic?
stuff on this. So it's not, from what I understand, there's not ways to interact with the contract as easily, but it sounds like there are ways to do it. But if you, for example, I know, was it the Fox Swap team? They wanted, they like were gonna start setting it up, but they can't interact with the contracts on the chain because you have to be whitelisted. And so in that sense, the DeFi Kingdoms team has full control over that. But apparently there are ways to still do it manually, like the old manual escrow way, which, is a mess in and of itself. But
Well, this is a question I'm still struggling with, and I wonder if they had perfect, if they had better foresight, which again, they're amazing, but if they had better foresight, and that is, you mentioned the number one thing, token utility comes back to summoning and summoning costs. Do you think, because I wish as a player, summoning costs would scale with Jewel price and with Crystal price. So that obviously would affect ARB opportunities, but do you think they should have done that? I guess is the question. Do you think that if Jewel's trading at 20, then you shouldn't have to pay the same price as when Jewel was trading at 3? Or do you think static is it works and it shouldn't scale? Because I, as a player, would love for it obviously to scale. I know there's repercussions that might not be anticipated, but just curious what you guys think about that.
Babypunch.
Yeah.
Let me just give you an example. Let's just say you could summon on Crystalvale right now. Screw that, right? You're not going to pay, and that's the whole ARB comment. And so it just kind of feels bad that you're like, yeah, I can definitely not summon here because it's $34 per token, and on Sarandel it's $9 or $10. So that's where I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, summoning is really expensive. I mean, it's costs hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, whatever the track of jewel price is. So that's really expensive. I think I would have liked to seen the price of summoning track with jewel price, but I don't really know. Honestly, I would have to like think through that in my head to see if that would really matter much, because if
Right. As it goes up, like there's still
yeah,
goodness going on. Right.
yeah. So I mean, jewel price would definitely tank. Not really tank, but if jewel price were low, I mean, is it really any different if if you're transacting, doing everything in jewel? I just don't think it matters a whole lot. Like if you're coming into the game buying your first hero or summoning your first hero, then yeah, that's dollars to jewel. But if everything is in jewel, if you're summoning a hero in jewel and then you sell that hero in jewel, then I mean it's kind of a wash at that point. It's just a matter of when you get your money into jewel.
Right.
I kind of agree with that because it's all relative, right? So if you have some sort of cost structure where it scales with the price, then you would also need to do the same with rewards, like your gardening rewards,
Right.
your
That's fair.
maybe locked mining. And then like we're also just like scratching the top of the surface. Like there's going to be PvP tournaments. There's going to be other like the gardening, the quest pool is not just for gardening, right? Like there's so much more envisioned for that. So all of that jewel is going to be disseminated via various ways, whether it's PvE, PvP, adventures, and if you have some sort of structure where the costs in game are variable dependent on like the US dollar price of it, then you also have to do it with. So like I know that I mean I don't know, but they've already talked about this. Like just stop viewing it in terms of US dollars and just view it in term relative to Joule or the power token. And I know that's like a hard pill to swallow right now because we're like, well, the only things we can get rewards from are gardening in Joule is gardening and mining. But I think once we see more utility, that won't be as hard. And that's why again, like why I see this, I see each expansion as just a 25% increase in the base total supply of Joule.
I will say just to follow up on, well, first of all, I got to call out Psycho Tag, who's like lighting me up in the comments here. I wasn't saying CV cheap, but Serendel not. I was saying I just wish from the beginning all summoning may have scaled. But I think Babypunch and Samichpunch have both given explanations why that probably wouldn't have worked. And I think the current model is probably the best model. It just feels bad sometimes, but maybe it's the right play, like the overall best play. I just wanted to give a follow up. So I bought 20 floor heroes because I didn't have enough heroes that I wanted to sacrifice for PJ. So I bought 20 floor heroes. Probably 12 of them were uncommons, level ones, and 8 were common level ones. And of the 20 or 19 or 20, I got 7 back. And based on the crystal price, I should have done that like 100 times. Like, in other words, the way it worked out, I got 7 of the 20 back, which is right in the statistical odds of what I should have got back. But based on my crystal return, that play was very lucrative. And I wish I would have bought 100 floor heroes and sent them on PJ. But I don't know if you guys remember, but I don't think we anticipated crystal being this high. Is that a fair statement? I thought we had all said, oh, like maybe it'll be double, but it'll match, it'll track soon. So I don't know. Had I known this, I think obviously had anyone known this, we would have.
I would have sent everything. I would have sent my entire. I would have sent every single hero in my like arsenal.
I would have been like, screw my heroes. Like,
I would have gone and bought like tons of rares, legendaries, and mythics. I would have just swept the mythic floor with as much jewels I had, and I would have sent it all.
Yeah.
Dude, I would
be buying Dread Knights. This is what I would have. I would have bought as many Dread Knights as I could, which would not be very many, and I would have sent them. Like this. The price of crystal blew my mind out the gate. It blew my mind.
Absolutely.
So, I was wondering I know you guys know this because we talk about DeFi Kingdoms daily, but what did you guys do with like your Serendel stuff? I kept some gardens in there. I wanted to just head back over there and look and see what the APR is over there now.
So
Yeah, they're
everyone's going to
decent
be
now.
different. I know you guys are more. You guys are probably making way more money because you're more bullish on DFK, and I am bullish. I just think you guys have a much better feel and pulse on DFK than I do. So, because of my rampant and inexplicable and irrational hero exposure, and I also have a lock jewel position, I was like, I'm full out. I'm too exposed to DFK. Too much of my net worth is tied up in one thing that if Frisky Fox gets hit by a car tomorrow, I will have to like go sweep floors at the school because I don't have any money left. So I know you
Hey,
guys are
there's
playing it
nothing
differently.
wrong with sweeping
No, there's
floors at
not.
the
I'm saying, but I would
school.
have to do that, right?
Yeah.
So I just think from an exposure perspective, I'm too exposed. I chose to reduce my exposure, and I still have a lot of DFK exposure. And so I got rid of my gardens, and I put, like I said, I put nothing in Crystal. What did you do, Babypunch?
Yeah. So I don't know who sent that tweet out, but I
Did
took
you
a
pull it up?
screenshot. I was looking for it. I pulled it up, but I'm not sure how to share
Let
it.
me see if I can find it.
Yes, you can find
I'll
it,
see
but
if I
it's
can share it.
the picture of
So
my
funny.
entire net worth is in the hands of
Here we go.
this
Here we go.
man.
I got it. I got it.
You got it. Yeah. My
Let
entire.
me see if I can zoom out here.
It's amazing.
I
It's
didn't. Yeah.
so
Our
accurate.
Lord and
like
Savior, Frisky
my
Fox.
future rides on this man. So,
Now,
but going
oh
back
yeah,
to
go
let's.
for it.
I'm trying to remember what you had just asked me. Something
Oh, what
about
did you do with
gardens.
your Sarandale position?
Yeah, so I actually liquidated probably 80% of my gardens to move over to Sarandel, and I am sitting mostly in Jewel X Jewel pool, and then with my crystal rewards, I staked most of those. So everything that I received up front, I staked those, paired those with USDC, and stake those in the garden. So right now the APR in that pool is 5,500, which feels really good. That APR is awesome. The Jewel X Jewel pool is 3,500. That feels amazing. Let's see. So you've got it pulled up over there for Sarandel, 436% for.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
ranging
highest.
from 463 to on the low end of jewel pairings. GameFi
Low
crossing
threes.
at 320.
So yeah,
Well,
APR is still significantly higher.
What was it in Crystalvale? Like
It's
5,000.
yeah,
I
5,500.
pay for the crystal ones.
5,500 APR, and then 3,500 for the Jewel X Jewel pool.
So
We're
someone
at
just said
what lock rate here?
2.5 to 3.5. In other words, Crystal for the next few months will maintain between a 2 to 4x on Jewel. And I'm like, once Gen Zeros come out though, that will represent significant price pressure down as people move Crystal to Sarah, or you move money to Sarandel to summon with, right? And then APRs are going to go down, so more people will pull out. So I would be shocked if we're above 2x, 2 to 1 within 30 days. But like I'm not an economist. Is there a reason it would stay that high?
I think it's just whenever they come out with the heroes and summoning. So once there's actually utility for Crystal in the sense of summoning, I think that's when we're going to see Crystal really track closer to Jewel price. It would not surprise me to see Crystal stay 2 to 3 times the price of Jewel until that point. So in my opinion, I think it's just a matter of when heroes come out, when we can start summoning. So, and that's
What is the
next on
Gen
the
Zero?
roadmap.
Is there a specific idea or no?
Sorry, what
On
was
when
that?
Gen Zeros? When do we get Gen Zeros in CV?
I
Oh
don't think
yeah,
we know.
no, yeah, we don't know. That's what I'm saying is when that does happen. I think that's
Oh,
when.
it's when the amulets come out. That's when we get those, right?
Oh gosh. Okay. So guys, Boris, let me address your comment. Yes, I do have a lot of unclaimed lock jewel. I haven't claimed it in months, and that's part of the reason why I did not send this. I didn't liquidate this garden and send it over to Crystalvale, is because I'm trying to take advantage of this rolling 2% period.
He's got
So-
fat sacks, guys. Let's just say that.
Okay. Anyways, I am financially irresponsibly deep in DeFi kingdoms. Yes. But I definitely did keep some over there, and it's more of like it's more of just like a hedge. Like I wanted to, it has the jewel exposure, but I'm also in a 61% unlock rate in that pool, whereas I'm 5%. So I did some like back of the napkin math. If you're in a pool paying 425%, you're on the amount that's unlocked. So if 425% APR, the amount unlocked is 260% APR, right? Or sorry, 260 of that 425% APR is unlocked. If you're getting 5,000% over in Crystalvale, 250% of that is unlocked. So,
Well, then
I
by
just-
that logic, there's no reason to be in Serendale. Period.
Exactly. Yeah.
Full
Yeah.
stop.
So I did that. I don't know why I haven't done that before. Because not only are you getting the same amount of unlocked, and this would be like dollar for dollar, right? It's not saying you wouldn't then triple that because Crystalvale is, or Crystal's
Right.
3 times higher. Is that APR is already taking into account the
Right.
price of Crystal. So yeah, if you had a $10,000 in Serendale and $10,000 in Crystalvale based on just like the average APRs of those pools, you're getting the same amount of unlocked almost in Crystalvale anyway. So feeling kind of like a scrub.
But the one downside,
that
I
in
guess,
Serendale.
is if you truly believed the long-term price of Crystal will go significantly down, and you don't believe Jewel will behave that way, right? You believe Jewel will be flat or up, then maybe Gardens don't feel as good in Crystalvale, right? That might be one piece that would mitigate that.
Yeah. Sir, this is actually a really good point too. Sir said no impermanent loss on CV. So there
That's a
is
good point.
crazy. There's going to be crazy impermanent loss for those crystal pairings, but the Jewel X Jewel pairing, that's pretty awesome because, yeah, like Jewel
It's
could
free.
triple in price, and you're not going to lose your rate. You're not going to get ratioed.
But one thing
Hold on, let
impermanent
me
loss-
ask this then. So in that case, is your safest bet just to sit in the Jewel X Jewel pool, even over on Serendale? Like it just would make more sense to be in that pool if you're at all worried about Crystal price going down. Is that just the safest route and most profitable route?
Like you're saying, stay in Serendale. If you believe Crystal's going to drop to the same price as Jewel, stay in Serendale.
Yeah, I'm saying if you believe Crystal's going to drop, is it better to come back into Serendale based on Bloaterpunch's analysis of sticking in Jewel, or would it be stay in Crystalvale and just switch over to the Jewel X Jewel pool?
I think there's a lot of factors that going in here. Some of these are mentioned here in the comments, but I think, yeah, I mean,
let's see, the APR right now is 3,500%.
yeah. Also, if the price of Crystal goes down, let's say it goes to the price of Jewel, it'd be like a 66% decrease or something like that, right? It'd be 1/3.
Yeah.
So I mean, APRs would go down commensurate with that.
We
Tom-
like throwing around. Everyone says impermanent loss. I say it all the time too. I recently just did some went to the impermanent loss calculator because I was confused by this. If you're in a pairing that's like one Jewel and Jewel 2x's and one stays flat, your impermanent loss is a whopping 5%. So
yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
it's not
that was
bad.
that was definitely an overstatement on my part. Show people what we're talking about. Crystal, let's say you're in the Crystal USDC pool. Crystal's
Crystal
at what?
USDC.
35. USDC is at 1. Crystal goes down to 10. You say at 1. You're at a 17. So your impermanent loss is 17%, which means had you just kept those tokens separate and not in that pair, you've suffered like comparatively by pairing those, you're 17% worse off. But that doesn't take into account any of the rewards you got. So you're probably still better off than just holding. But that doesn't mean you're better off than a different pool.
So I keep seeing this comment from multiple people. that keep saying, you guys keep saying what? This is cracking me up, actually. This is humorous. You guys keep saying Crystal's going to eventually match with Jewel, but what if Jewel matched with Crystal? And I'm
Well,
like, yeah, what if I poop gold tomorrow? But like, do you think Jewel will be really worth 3.5x what it's worth today because you want it to? Like,
but
if
just think of
Jewel's
it.
at
Think of
Jewel
it
was
this
at
way.
$22 with significantly less supply, and it was like max mania, max hype, max stupidity tier. And and people are saying, oh, it could 3.5x like tomorrow. Yeah, like
That
I hope so.
yeah, that's not happening. Just like economics, like that's just not how this would work. But like, I mean, and this isn't like news, guys. Like Frisky and Dreamer have talked about this so many times. Like Frisky's famous quote, like the high tide raises all boats. If let's say $35 is like this is like the price, $35 of crystal, which is 1/4 the supply of, Sarandel. If people are like this is like a good price, what would happen is once full utility rolls out and we have full ARB opportunities and bots could easily ARB between the crystal and jewel utility prices, what would happen is it wouldn't just be like Jewel goes up to Crystal, and it would be Crystal just goes down to Jewel. They Jewel would go up, Crystal would come down, and this would happen every single time there's an expansion and more TBLs coming in, and it's increasing the overall value of power tokens. And I'm sticking by my thesis that these expansions, the power token is just a 25% increase in the total supply of Jewel. Long term, that will be the ultimate effect, in my opinion.
By the way, Crypto Nerd has had some great comments. Here's one that I think is S tier stupid though. Oh, but what about PvP and PvE? Bro, how long are we going to be saying that? Okay. You want to keep holding your breath? You keep holding your breath. I hope you hold my bags, bro. Because when Jewel goes to 30, I'm going to be dumping my bags on you and you're going to be like, yeah, Jewel to the moon. So like, let's be investors and not fanboys of Frisky. Let's just be investors together. It's been forever. It's going to be forever. That's okay. There's other things to mitigate it. I'm bullish on DFK, but stop. We have been saying that for how long now? And in the crypto space, this is like an eternity. And so let's stop pretending like, oh, well, when this happens, then blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, you got to look at the project the way it is now. And there's no PvP or PvE in the foreseeable near future. So I'm really hesitant to even bake that into the formula at this point. There's so many unknowns before that anyway, that like planning on Jewel being at 30 because of PvP seems really, really.
I think he's salty because he doesn't have a Gen 0. I think that's what it is.
You got me. You got me.
But on a side note, though, there has been a lot of platforms and content creators, big names in the crypto space, that have been talking about DeFi kingdoms and saying how it is like leading the space and play to earn DeFi gaming, like a lot. We follow Crypto Banter. They have several different channels that have talk about DeFi kingdoms and a lot of Krabata, a lot of AVAX gaming projects, but a lot of people have been saying that DeFi kingdoms is leading the space in terms of play to earn DeFi gaming. So they're making a lot of good moves, and I think I don't know what the timeline is. They've got really bullish on their expansions, and so yeah, it's taking a long time and it's taking a while, but I mean,
people are
it's
hurting my feelings
inevitable.
in the
It's going
comments.
to come.
So can I just say one thing? If we had 20 of the current Harmony games in a line with 20 of their creators or 20 of their CEOs, whatever you call Frisky, and his equivalents, and you said you can only invest your money in one project, I would say DFK 100%. Easily the best project on Harmony and easily the best project I've ever invested in. So I don't want to poop on DFK or like I'm salty. And by the way, I hope if I just complain that Frisky will airdrop me a Gen 0. But what I'm just saying is like, let's be real, right? Like let's not live in like la la land because we're fanboys and we want to like, you know, the devs are so great. It's like, let's just make rational decisions based on the information we have. That's all I'm saying. But yes, DFK is awesome. And I would, if I had to only pick one project, it would all be on DFK.
And I will say this though, like if you look at Axie and what happened when their full utility and gameplay really started rolling out, they did explode. Like it fundamentally changed how their token was traded. And I don't think it's an overstatement to say it will be different. So saying, you know, $30 when PvP and PvE release, yeah, that might be exaggerated, but it's not. I would just.
You're saying it's not even out of the realm of possibility, though.
I'm not saying it's out of the realm of possibilities, but I'm just saying like it. I do think that we will see like some pretty serious movement because right now one of the big criticisms is it's still just a yield farm and the current questing is just like a modification. It's essentially staking of your NFTs for additional yield farms. And there's not much, there's not much choice and strategy involved yet. Other than I would counter that there is because we're planning and making decisions on leveling up our heroes and how we summon and advanced abilities and whatnot, but it's just one thing to think about. Okay. So, all right, we're 45 minutes in. Did you guys want to talk about anything else? Are there any other questions you guys are seeing? Otherwise, I do have a hero we can give away.
Generous. Rare, what was it? Warrior, 9 of 9 summons.
Yeah. Actually, and I didn't realize this. I didn't realize this until after. I was like, I copied and pasted it, and I was like, I should just check real quick. And it's it's actually DR1, but I already I could have changed it, and put something else out, but like I'm gonna give it away.
Sam,
DR1 quick. Warrior.
Do you know, do we have any idea when high level quests come out? Someone mentioned that in chat. Is that sooner or where are we relative to best guess? When's the next real functions? Do we have any idea?
I think the next thing we see is what they teased at Avalanche Summit, which is that
Arena?
Not Arena, what's it called? DFK Arena was proposed.
It was
it's the
duel.
DFK duel or whatever.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I quote Dreamer, it will be a simple yet highly strategic PvP. So that'll be really interesting. And you saw what they did with the leaderboards. I wouldn't be surprised if they have some pretty cool rewards like Gen Zeros or Jewel. I don't know, but
could that be?
I mean, I'd be shocked. That feels long to me. I think that they've realized they can't keep saying soon. They need to give more, and they're working on that. That's been a consistent theme in this last 4 weeks of AMAs. So I don't, me personally, I don't see it taking as long as 3 months, but yeah, let's let me pull this bad boy up.
So how are you giving this thing away?
Let's do trivia, a non-DeFi Kingdoms trivia. we've done a lot of DeFi Kingdoms trivia. Let's do.
I've got a Disney trivia cocked. If you're interested, I'm not saying we have to.
I have one. I have one. Let's do Attack on Titan. So my anime fan.
Titan.
Science trivia, bro.
Science trivia, dude. I wouldn't even be able to come up. Han.
Dude, Han. We got to do Han.
No, here's the thing. He's probably the only person in chat that even knows.
Yes, I does.
All right. I mean, is Attack on Titan? Maybe we should just stick with DeFi Kingdoms. Keep it as fair as possible, I guess. All right, you guys find another question to discuss real quick while I find I look something.
Questions I did want to.
I'm assuming this might be common knowledge, but there's some people that might not know it. But if you want to easy transition between Crystalvale and Sarandel, you do not need to go to the docks every time and travel. You can just simply go up to your MetaMask and switch the RPC from DFK chain to one of the Harmony, and it will automatically switch you over.
I
So
didn't know
just
that.
a little bit of side note there. I'm sure most people probably knew that, but if there's anyone out there that's still kind of going to the docks every time, you can just switch your RPC if that's easier, or maybe going to the docks is easier for you.
One thing I saw recently that blew my mind, I know Tater saw this in our chat. I was moving USDC from Crystal to Sarandel and was getting more USDC in Sarandel for some reason. I don't know why, but it was like an extra $100 on 10K or something like that. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about. All right, I've got it. I've got one. So, I think most of you have been here before. You know the routine. Get your Discord user ID ready. Get it locked and loaded. Type it in so that don't hit enter. Type it in so that all you have to do is, you've got your Discord. For example, mine would be Samichpunch hashtag 2518. I would hit space, and I'm getting ready to type the answer so that when you type your answer, it'll have your Discord in the same comment as your answer. The reason why you have to do that is because people can mess around, they can report other people's
People are
comments, and
bad.
it just screws it up, or people will come back in and like hurry and change their name and say, no, I was the one that won. So that's what you got to do. We'll take a screenshot as soon as it happens, and we'll do it based off of what the first one we see on our end. All right, so here it is for this.
Is it DFK related?
It is DFK related.
I'll get
So
you that.
this is the hero. Let me share it here. Come on.
No, and guys, just while he's doing that, we don't need you to share your Discord now. You need to share your Discord ID when you answer the question in the same response.
Yep.
This is the guy right here. He's a fisher. He's rare. He's level 1, Gen 2, 9 out of 9. He is DR1. Pretty cool. He's got to have mining recessives because I made him with 2 mining parents and got hosed with a fisher. There's 95% chance for a miner, and he came out with fishing. So it's pretty salty, and I'm just kicking him to the curb. This is the question. On what date did I publish my very first article on my Samichpunch Medium account?
Ooh.
On what date? On what
Oh, that's
date?
easy. I've got that
did-
tattooed to my arm.
On what date did I publish my very first article on my Samichpunch Medium account?
Is it November 11th?
It is not November 11th.
Is it September 30th?
September 30th. Ding, 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 ding.
Wow. Nice.
So wait, was that Mark?
It is Well Watch.
Galarpe?
It is Well Watch report number 6, dated September 29th, 2021, but it was published on Medium on the 30th of September.
So is that Mark Galarpe? Do you guys see that as well? As I'm seeing Mark.
Jeez, that blew up real fast.
So hold on, I'm
seeing-
looking at it. It's not your September 21st. Well Watch report number 1.
No, you got to see. I posted old ones onto it, but you have to look at the oldest date. Are you seeing one published on September 21st?
I see.
Not the title. Don't look at the title of the article.
Oh,
Look at
got
the
it.
date it was published.
Yeah, what
Should be
is it?
September 30th. I wrote Well Watch articles before Medium, and I posted them to Reddit, and some of those I then posted
That's true.
onto my Medium, but it was after September 30th.
So did you guys see Mark
I
Galarpe?
see Mark Galarp, yeah. Vertical Malice, geez, that's gonna be Mark. I hope you're in the DeFi Kingdoms Discord. Can someone screenshot that?
That's a
for me?
funky. Yeah, I got it. That's a funky DM. But Mark, congratulations, sir.
Congrats,
I'll give
man.
you my.
Yeah, that's a sweet hero. DR1.
Ryan, time strategy. Any credit for getting the year correct before anyone else? I'm not sure what you mean exactly, but join us next time, man. We'll find a way to get you. Thanks, guys, for joining us. Babypunch, Bloaterpunch, do the review. Have anything else you want to
I'm good.
wrap up with?
No, we're excited. We're excited for the game. Hopefully they'll. You got something else?
One more thing, but go ahead and wrap up.
No, I was just gonna say I'm excited to see where DFK goes from here. So I'm pretty sure the Gen Zeros on Crystalvale will probably be the next rollout for the game. But I mean, I don't see anything coming out on Serendell until Crystalvale catches up. Do either of you think that'll happen?
Yeah, I wait.
I
What you're saying until that releases, what won't happen?
I just don't see anything new on Serendell rolling out until Crystalvale catches up to where
I could
Serendell
see
is.
pets. I could see the pet incubator. I could see DFK dual. That wouldn't shock me if those came out while
Yeah,
we're
that's
waiting.
true.
Okay, I got to do this. Jonathan Hicks just said do the Disney question anyway. It's a small prize. I'll throw 10 Jewel who can never get this Disney. Are you guys okay with this if I just do a quick
Yeah. Let's go.
10
Let's
Jewel
go.
giveaway
All right.
for Disney?
Flutter coming in with
Okay,
10 Jewel.
we're doing a 10 Jewel giveaway because Homeboy said who was this? Jonathan Hicks. Okay, here's the Disney question. This is for 10 Jewel. So anyone can win again. Just make sure your Discord ID is in your response, okay? Here's the Disney trivia I had cocked and ready to go in case Samichpunch wanted me to use Disney trivia, okay? I'm going to do the quote. I'm going to try and do the best voice I can. And whoever gets the movie right, not the character, but the movie right from Disney, you get 10 Jewel. I'll send you 10 Jewel for my wallet, okay? Here's the quote. Ain't that right, PJ? PJ, I like that. PJ, aha.
Oh gosh, I'm like,
I know my Disney, and I have no clue what that is from.
Okay, I'm gonna do it where he goes, ain't that right, PJ?
Pinocchio.
Mark Galarp is saying Pinocchio.
Mark almost dunked on another one, and no, it is not Pinocchio.
Jeez, Mark, you got to take it easy, man.
It
Mark
is Crypto Viking. It is Crypto Viking with Robinhood. They're at the place, like Little John is impersonating a royal, and he goes, "Ain't that right, PJ?" And then Prince John goes, "PJ, I like that." PJ.
You're talking like the old one where they're all animals.
Yep, the old Robinhood.
I guess
Crypto
that's the only
Viking.
Disney one. Okay, guys.
got
Okay,
Crypto.
you got his.
I
Okay,
got it.
we'll be reaching out, guys, on Discord. Super excited. Our guest for the next podcast, guys, is going to be Taiki. So super excited to have him on. Anybody who knows him knows he's, one of the most popular yield farming
It's a master.
YouTubers, and he's super smart guy. We're super stoked to have him on, and that will actually be, we kind of had to mix things up. We didn't do our weekend main podcast stream this weekend, and we're not gonna do it next weekend. We're gonna be doing it Thursday. So come and catch us on Thursday. Techie's gonna be there with us, and it's gonna be a real banger of a show.
Awesome.
Alrighty, we'll see everyone next week.
All right.
I too know that DFK is the greatest project, and I say that